You know that feeling when your car stereo just doesn't hit the way it should? I've spent weeks testing the 5 most talked about JBL car speakers to figure out which one actually delivers clean, powerful sound without breaking the bank. I bought each of these myself, installed them, and drove around blasting everything from hip-hop to classical so you don't have to waste your money on guesswork. Product number 1, JBL GTO609C 612 component speaker system. When I held the GTO609C for the first time, I was impressed by how solid it felt. The woofer has this carbon-injected +1 cone that's bigger than most in its class, and you can actually feel the heft in your hands. Installing it was a breeze thanks to the I-mount system. You can mount the tweeters flush or on the surface, which made placement super flexible in my car. When I cranked it up, the bass was surprisingly deep and punchy for a 612 speaker. The highs stayed smooth even at high volumes, which I really noticed on acoustic tracks. Plus, the dual-level tweeter adjustment lets you tweak the sound if your speaker placement isn't perfect. If you want a component system that's flexible and sounds crisp across all frequencies, this one's a solid pick. It's ideal if you care about clarity and punch without going overboard on price. Product number 2, JBL GX328 312 coaxial speakers. The GX328 felt small in my hands, but it's surprisingly well built for its size. The cones are a bit wider than usual thanks to JBL's +1 design, and the edge-driven tweeters have this tiny but noticeable deflector that makes a real difference in directing high frequencies toward you. Once I powered them up, I was impressed. The mid-bass had more body than I expected, and the highs were clear without being harsh. Even at higher volumes, it didn't distort, which is impressive for 312 speakers. I tested them on a basic car stereo first, then with a small amp, and the sound really opened up once I added some extra power. For anyone on a tighter budget or with limited space, these punch above their weight. They're perfect if you want crisp highs and decent bass without replacing your whole system. Product number 3, JBL GTO939 6x9 3-way coaxial speakers. The GTO939 feels like a serious upgrade the moment you pick it up. The 6x9 size is big and solid, and the adjustable mylar titanium tweeter plus super tweeter make the whole unit feel like it's built to handle serious volume. I also noticed the rubber surround on the woofer made the bass feel tighter and more controlled compared to cheaper speakers. The bass was full and punchy, the mids were smooth, and the highs had clarity without fatigue. I loved that I could tweak the tweeter and super tweeter levels depending on my playlist. It's definitely louder and more dynamic than most factory-installed options. If you drive a larger car or just want a noticeable upgrade without going fully aftermarket, the GTO939 is a solid choice. It's especially great for people who love a balanced mix of bass, mids, and highs. Product number 4, JBL Stage 96036 X9 3-way coaxial speakers. When I pulled the Stage 9603 out of the box, I immediately noticed the quality of the woofer cone. It's injection-molded polypropylene, so it feels lightweight but very durable. The dual tweeter setup, balanced dome, and piezoelectric super tweeter gives a slightly sharper look than most 6x9 speakers. In use, these speakers handled mid to high volumes really well. The highs are crisp thanks to the balanced dome, and the super tweeter adds sparkle that made acoustic guitar and vocals pop. The bass is decent for its size, though it doesn't hit quite as hard as the GTO939, but it's still clean and punchy. This one's perfect if you want a reliable, well-rounded speaker without spending a ton. If you're upgrading a factory stereo and want clarity without going overboard on bass, the Stage 9603 is a solid option. Product number 5, JBL Club 6526.5 2-way coaxial speakers. The Club 6520 feels surprisingly premium for its price. Holding it, I noticed how well finished the cones are, and the sturdy frame gives a sense of confidence. It's simple in design but clearly made to last. When I tested them, the sensitivity really stood out. The bass isn't earth-shaking, but it's tighter and cleaner than many factory replacements. What I liked most is that they're versatile. You can drop them into almost any car and get instant improvement. If you want a no-fuss speaker that improves sound without needing an amp, this is the one. It's especially great for everyday drivers who care about music quality but don't want complicated setups. That's my rundown of the best JBL car speakers I've tested. Each of these has its own strengths depending on your car, setup, and budget. Check the links in the description for current prices and make sure you grab the one that fits your ride.